Good evening and welcome to our Covenant Healthcare sponsored pregame show on Bay County TV. I'm Jeff Doan along with Mike Vincent. Welcome, Mike.
Jeff, thank you for having me again. I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're going to start off with the new award. You are a member of our fraternity now with the President's Award into the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame. I got it back in 2018, so I guess it will be royalty working with royalty tonight.
It was a great honor, Jeff. I was thrilled to be there 2 weeks ago, and I'll tell you what, it's almost as great of an honor to work elbow to elbow with you, tipping off the 2024 varsity basketball season.
Well, we are certainly excited about the possibilities. We're going to start with the All Saints Cougars, and they start with a little bit of a handicap. They lost a week of potential practice because they had a little playoff in football, losing that first-round game to the eventual state champion Deckerville.
It's true, but All Saints, of course, as you know, has a long, rich history in basketball. They have a solid coaching staff that brings the very best that their athletes bring to the table.
Jason Brzezinski brings great stability to that program, and that is where it all starts with this basketball team.
He's one of those guys that has the gift of getting the very best he can out of all of his athletes. Whatever they're capable of, you're going to see their absolute potential by the end of the season.
When they hit the floor, they are a group that played a lot as freshmen, played a lot as sophomores, now playing a lot as juniors. That third year of varsity experience for a lot of those kids is going to be invaluable.
Yes, and not only that, Mrs. Vincent happens to teach first grade, and she used to teach at All Saints Elementary School. She's worked with three of the three players on this team, so they've been playing since first grade together. They know what they're doing.
That is going to be a fun way. We're excited to see how that season starts. On the other side of the coin, you've got longtime veteran coach and stability in Dale Clyde, but he is nurturing his son Derek along. And somewhere potentially in the next few years we'll be potentially taking over the reins.
And that is great news for the John Glenn Bobcats. Dale Clyde is a solid guy. He's been here for years and years, and he's passing the torch. You know they're in safe hands for many years ahead.
Now, you said that you came into the system just about the time Dale and his wife did, so
yes,
you've got a little history going back with he and his wife.
Yes. First thing I saw as he was talking to you, I saw those gray hairs. I don't think I have that many gray hairs, do I?
No, that's absolutely. You've aged better than most,
I was
brother.
hoping so.
Now, with the loss of Sean Westlock, has a foot break and a couple of screws put in there, and it was something that they did not diagnose right away, and they're not certain he'll be able to come back. Dale told me he could be the first 1,000-point, 1,000-rebound scorer in the history of the school if healthy.
That is, of course, heartbreaking for Westlake, but I will say for the Bobcats, the kitchen isn't bare. They have a neat mix of juniors and seniors this year, 6 seniors, 8 juniors, and 1 sophomore, so they have something to offer this season also. Go ahead.
And something to be said for 15 kids on the roster. Not a lot of programs can sport 15 kids on their roster.
Yep, there's a lot of people to contribute. 15 and 9 last year, so they're looking to improve upon that.
It is going to be a lot of fun. We are excited about the possibilities kicking off the 2024-25 basketball season. Alongside Mike Vincent, I'm Jeff Doan. That puts the wraps on our pregame show. It's sponsored by Covenant Healthcare. Back with all the game action in just a moment on BCTV.
At Covenant Healthcare, we take caring for kids very seriously. That's why we've established Covenant Children's Hospital, home of the Great Lakes Bay region's only pediatric emergency care unit, the only Level 3 regional neonatal intensive care unit, part of our state-of-the-art birth center,
Popsicles!
and the region's only pediatric intensive care unit.
Our pediatric ICU has specialized equipment designed for treating children and board-certified pediatric intensivists specifically trained to deal with the unique needs of pediatric care.
As a pediatrician, it's rewarding to work at a hospital with so many resources devoted to kids' care.
Covenant Children's Hospital offers a wide range of pediatric specialty services, such as pediatric cardiology, orthopedics, treatment for autism, diabetes, and sleep disorders, as well as pediatric rehabilitation at Mary Freebed Rehabilitation.
They have stickers!
And at every step of the way, our child life specialists guide them, making their Covenant experience a positive one. Covenant Children's Hospital is also home to the Central Michigan University Pediatric and Obstetrics and Gynecology residency programs, training the next generation of physicians.
They won't let you be a doctor without one of these.
A children's hospital is more than a building with colorful walls. Rather, it is the embodiment of the hearts and minds of all of us committed to the well-being of children.
We're dedicated to providing extraordinary care to infants and children so they can get back to the serious business of being kids.
Good evening and welcome. Here we go with basketball. Kevin Sinicki set to toss it up, and the first tip of the game goes to the John Glenn Bobcats. Quickly down the floor with that first shot was Masters, couldn't finish. Somler at the other end with a little floater from three, and the first bucket of the game belongs to the Cougars.
Boy, you were telling me at the beginning of when we got here, Somler, he's the hot hand for the All Saints Cougars. Nice start.
He's going to need a hot hand tonight to keep the Cougars in it with injuries and a couple of players that didn't make it. How about the back door? Number one, Demetrius Ward, perfectly set up with a head bob and a flush at the other end.
Meach Ward, a junior for the John Glenn Bobcats, and had some varsity time as a sophomore. We knew he was going to be something.
Boy, is this crowd ever right into it right now. Great defense as well. Beautiful job in the lane. The shot is missed. Eisler with the rebound, trying to put it back. Can't get it a third opportunity. Finally, the rebound comes down to McCrum. And you know in transition what the Bobcats are looking to do.
They definitely have the size advantage, Jeff. We'll see if they can take advantage of it.
And good verticality at the other end with Eisler. And that turnover is going to give the ball back over to the John Glenn Bobcats. 2-2 early on with 6:42 left in the first. You got to love the electricity in here.
I love how this started. Just terrific.
Bobcats inbounding the ball once again. Ward sends it to McCrum. Back up top to Ward as they're going to move this ball around. And the Cougars defensively are going to try and pack it in. We are going to have a foul on the floor. They'll go down on the baseline. J.J. Metz says this foul is going to go, I believe, against Van Wagner.
I had number 14. Gavin Akins on that first foul for the Cougars. Scrappy in the paint there. We knew we had a David and Goliath versus matchup, and so far the Cougars are up to it.
Again, trying to get that extra pass. Cougars very active hands defensively, knocking that ball out of bounds.
Number 42, Ethan Eisler, really getting scrappy in the paint for the Cougars.
I would say he can play physically with anybody on the floor.
I'll tell you, if I was still coaching wrestling and All Saints had a program, I'd be recruiting that guy.
Somler going up. The ball is tipped away as Calhoun tips it away. He's looking to go coast to coast. Puts it up a little bit strong, fighting for the rebound. And that comes back out to Ward. And there will be a travel as number 14, that's Masters.
Very quick pace for the start of this game, but still only 2-2. 6 minutes to go in this first quarter.
Looking at the pace early on, Mike, with the first game, you're going to probably look to see a lot of early substitution with the adrenaline up and the pace of this game. Kids may need a 30 or 60-second blow just to slow the game down from the sidelines.
I would say, and considering how early it is in the season, conditioning is still a factor. But yes, so is adrenaline.
Trying to get that ball inside, and this will be a coast-to-coast at the other end. Donzel Calhoun with a kiss off the glass on the left side.
John Glenn Bobcats with their first lead early on in this first quarter. Just under 5 minutes to go.
And that ball, Somler got down kind of into no man's land, tried to get rid of the ball, and there wasn't anybody really in an open area, and the ball last touched by him out of bounds goes back over to the Bobcats. As Ward up top, looks like he'll be their floor general tonight. And the Cougars packing it in defensively. Nice job that time getting to the hole. And a great foul because that would have been an easy deuce. He's going to make them earn two at the line.
Good hard defense for the Cougars, and that was number 11, Jimmy McCrum, driving to the hole. He's going to take two at the line for the Bobcats.
5:21 left in our first. Bobcats 4, All Saints Cougars 2. A little bit short and to the left on that first presentation. Second free throw attempt forthcoming.
John Glenn Bobcats 15-9 last season. Very respectable season that they're looking to build on this year. And they have their hands full losing their number one stunner, number 33, Sean Weselak, recovering from a foot injury.
And I did a lot of 3-on-3 basketball that Sean participated in. He is just a great kid. At the other end with an answer. Kicking it up is Matthews. Tickling the twine on the try.
Number 0, Quamarian Matthews, a junior, pops the three-pointer. Ties the game at 5.
Ward back up top again, and All Saints is doing all they can to just pack it in. And the Bobcats with another great look inside, just unable to finish. Finally on their third opportunity offensively, Hayden Rupp for the deuce. 7-5, a 2-point lead. As Somler trying to come down the floor, kind of lost the edge on it for a second. And looks like the Cougars are going to reset it up, and John Glenn Bobcats with that pressure man defense. It goes off the rim, coming down the floor on a 3-on-1.
Number 14, Oliver Masters with a slam for the Bobcats.
How about the hops from Masters, coast to coast, and he finished with a flush. Absolutely electrifying this crowd, and a 4-point lead for the Bobcats. Trying to go underneath as they're trying to kick that ball out. Boy, Bobcats are everywhere defensively. Got them trapped in the corner, stepped out of bounds. Back over to the Bobcats.
Terrific trap set up by the Bobcats, led by veteran coach Dale Clyde. We understand this may be his last year. That's not the official word on the street yet, but this may be his last year, assisted by his son tonight, Derek Clyde.
Well, and it's awful nice when you are able to bring your son along. His son was the head JV coach for years and gave him responsibilities on the varsity last year, along with this year. If Coach Dale decides it's time, he knows the program is in great hands.
Absolutely. It's a good thing to know as a head coach, especially one of Dale Clyde's caliber. Nice steal by the Cougars.
And I would say even if Dale chooses to retire, I think he'll still keep his sneakers around and be hanging around the gym.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Again, trying to go down the floor again, and that Bobcat pressure extends to that 28-foot mark, and the Cougars have just got no breathing room on the offensive end.
Right. I'll tell you, though, a scrappy bunch, those Cougars. We were talking to Coach Brzezinski before we went on the air tonight, and he was kind of hemming and hawing about, a little thin, a little bit young, and I was saying inside my own head that coaches have been sounding like that forever. You can tell the Cougars have something to offer.
You are certainly well aware of that. And at the other end with a little softy on the left side, Dylan Wood for the deuce. Boy, defense leads to offense once again.
Yes, it does. Just like that, the Bobcats open up a 6-point lead with just under 3 minutes to go in this first quarter.
And again, they make Somler pick up his dribble. And we're going to have a timeout from Jason Brzezinski. We'll take a timeout as well with 2:53 left in the first, 11-5. The Bobcats over the Cougars. Back in a moment on BCTV.
For over 75 years, Frank's Great Outdoors has served as the Great Lakes Bay region's premier hunting, fishing, and outdoor shopping destination. What started in the mid-1940s as a roadside bait and tackle stand has now blossomed into a 30,000 square foot outdoorsman's dream shopping location. Stop by the store located at 1212 North Huron Road in Linwood, or shop online at franksgreatoutdoors.com to find everything you need to get your next outdoor adventure started.
Back here on Bay County TV, Jeff Doan and Mike Vincent. Glad to have you along tonight, producing, directing, and filming. Nick Page, another great job. 11-5 with the start tonight for the Bobcats. They've got a ton of energy.
Yes, they do. And an electric crowd tonight. Really great turnout for Game 1 of the 2024-2025 season.
And if this crowd is any indication, the Bobcats are going to have great fan support this year. And boy, it's easy to feed off great fans.
Yes.
And that's going to go the other way. as that ball is tipped away off the leg of the Bobcats. And up 6 with possession. Look at J.J. Metz. He's even doing a little maintenance work out there. Takes a little sweat off the ball, puts it on his. He sacrifices his apparel for the good of the game.
Referee crew's got a little adrenaline going in game 1 tonight.
Yes, indeed. Nice job underneath. Oh! Nope, we got to travel first. Very nice job by J.J. Metz, and a little extra hop step.
Number 25, Marcos Castillo, a junior for the Bobcats, took an extra step but drove strong to the hole.
Boy, was able to finish even through the contact, but unfortunately traveled before the contact. Somler into the front court right now. As that's a skip pass. Andrzejewski thought about it. Andrzejewski is the way they like to call it. And there is a good quick rebound. Ward down the floor as the Bobcats quickly get it in. Look at that spin move. Rebound off the miss. And to put back. Demetrius Ward flew down the floor and got the deuce.
His 4th point of this first quarter, also 2 rebounds. Sign of good things to come for Ward.
Boy, they just really get to the ball and double up in a hurry.
Very tough Dale Clyde type defense the Bobcats are showing.
And that ball will stay here. Looks like it was last touched by the Bobcats, but Dale Clyde has always been a huge advocate of strong defense, and they move their feet, they don't reach, and they just seem to know when it's time to get the double team. That ball is tipped inbounds. Back at the end. Slice it and dice it down the lane, and a flush at the finish.
Number 5, Hayden Ruff on that slam for the Bobcats.
Wow.
2 slams in the first quarter. What more can you ask for from the Bobcats so far?
They are making it happen, and another rebound quickly down the floor. In transition for the reverse finish, just a little bit strong. Here come the Cougars back on their end of the floor. And again, they're getting picked up right over half court. They really don't have time to make that quick adjustment to the speed defensively. That's a kick ball, and that'll be out of bounds with 1 minute remaining in our first quarter. And again, the All Saints Cougars will be looking to freely substitute. I like this move. You get 4 starters out. They're going to get the blow for the last minute of the first quarter and the 60-second timeout. Come back fresh to start the second.
And give a nod to Coach Izzo for those Michigan State Spartans. Game 1, it's a nice win, but really it's about setting up your chess pieces for the whole long season and getting as many weapons as you can on that court.
And you're going to need all the weapons you can get. Somler, wants to finish, and he's pushed before he traveled. As Craig Bowers says, that one is going to go.
Number 0, Quamarian Matthews with a foul.
Matthews,
check that. Number 0, Isaiah Hankinson called for the foul. His first for the Bobcats. 52 seconds to go in this first quarter.
Boy, and I'll tell you what, the temperature is rising in this facility.
Yes.
We said it was a little warm before, but with all the energy in here, Bay City Light and Power needs to come over here and harness some of this energy in the building.
Close to filled to capacity on night 1 here at John Glenn High School.
Quickly down the other end, 3-on-1. He's going to finish himself. Short-armed the ball as he went up, and that was Masters. Somler at the other end, and that ball is slapped out of bounds. Boy, the recovery on defense by the Bobcats was impressive.
That was number 0, Isaiah Hankinson, went sky high for John Glenn. First block of the night for Hankinson.
35.3 left in our first quarter. Trying to spin back across the grain. A beautiful job by Matthews.
Yep.
Found a little room with a little fadeaway.
Yep, 5 points this first quarter for Quamarian Matthews, a junior at All Saints.
That comes up a little bit strong, too. And Somler with a great job with that. My favorite rebound in basketball, that backside rebound. Somler dials it up and tickles the twine on the trifecta as only he can do it. And off the iron at the end of the quarter. It's 15-10, a little 5-0 run by the Cougars to get back in the last minute. Back in a moment for the second quarter on BCTV. Founded in 2011, Renew Physical Therapy has quickly become the Great Lakes Bay region's fastest-growing patient-centered physical therapy and rehabilitation specialists. With 16 locations to serve you, our friendly, highly qualified staff of physical, occupational, and massage therapists take great pride in offering one-on-one treatments through customized plans to help you achieve the best possible outcome for your health. Our offices accept most major insurances and are well-versed in navigating the complexities of insurance policies, ensuring you receive the coverage and benefits you deserve. Visit our website at renewpt.com to request your appointment today. Back on Bay County TV, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Covenant Healthcare, Renew Physical Therapy, Frank's Great Outdoors, Sandlot Sports, and the Bay City All Saints Cougar Booster Club. We thank them all for joining us this year and couldn't do it without them. After a 5-0 run to end the first quarter, Cougars to get their hands on the ball first to start the second quarter. Somler says, "You're going to leave me open for one of those?"
Gets his own rebound, takes it to the cup.
He's hit on the arm, and
draws the foul.
That'll be a floor foul, so it'll be an out of bounds. Jason Brzezinski out there working hard on the floor for the Cougars. Got to be happy with that little 5-0 run to bring them back to within 5 at the end of the first.
Yes, All Saints Cougars punching a little above their weight class tonight, but hanging in there nicely.
Got to love the effort that they play with, and you know that they're going to play hard. Look at Somler slicing and dicing his way down with a little soft kiss off the glass for the finish and the deuce.
Gets the Cougars within 3 and 7 points and counting for Somler.
As again, look at the other end.
How about that?
Great defense that time by the All Saints Cougars.
Number 4, Brennan Pease with a big block.
Boy, you've got to defensively anticipate that and get to the spot without fouling, and he did great on both accounts.
And I'm not saying John Glenn underestimated the Cougars, but I think the Cougars kind of taken him a little by surprise with their tenacity in the paint tonight.
Well, I think early on things might have started a little bit simple for the Bobcats, and they thought that it would be there. But you got to give a ton of credit to the Cougars for coming back and making it tight here, only down 3 in the first minute of the second quarter. And again, he does it. And the ball taken back away. Somler tried to get it. But at the other end, we're going to have an offensive foul. Good call. Defense was set. And when you dip the shoulder and you go to the hole and you're going against a set defender, that call is an easy one for our officiating crew.
Number 5, Cario Tenney with the charging foul. His first for the All Saints Cougars. Check that. That's number 5, Hayden Ruff with his first for the Bobcats. Learning how to read my own handwriting, Jeff.
That's all right. As back into the corner come the Cougars, and they're going to get an extra step. That's exactly what you do on the backside as a center official. You have got the least amount of responsibility on the floor. You have just got this little area in front of you, and he did it to perfection. And unfortunately for the Cougars, you're not going to get away with that extra step with this crew.
Kevin Sinicki, veteran referee in Saginaw Valley and beyond, I understand.
He has been to the Final Four on many occasions. He is a great individual and an even better person. How about that finish for the Bobcats?
Number 5, Hayden Ruff down low for 2.
Somler down the court right now, and they're picking him up 25 feet from the basket. They're not going to give him any easy looks. There's the look underneath to Eisler. And then they go back to Somler. He's wide open for the 3 ball. Might have rushed that shot a little bit. Ward at the other end looking down the floor with the finish. Number 11, Jimmy McCrum, running the floor and getting the feed. Ball knocked out of bounds again as great effort provided. And that will be a hold of the spot. And that will be the bounce pass in. Sinicki had to do a little bit of yoga there to slide out of the way of that incoming call.
Still young enough to do that stuff.
I tell you, he runs like a deer yet for his age. Eisler underneath, knowing how to finish.
The big man down low for 2.
What a great job and awareness of where he was at around the basket. Put it up soft off the glass for the deuce.
Eisler, a senior for the Cougars, gets him back within 5.
So that was Ward. He had the open 3, tried to get the mid-range shot, and kind of looked like he wasn't certain what he wanted. Maybe looking back said, I could have taken that 3 ball. Somler tickling the twine on the try. It's a 2-point game, Mike.
Drains the 3. Somler already in double figures with 5:28 to go in this first half.
What a great start for the Cougars. What a great start for the Bobcats. A very entertaining game and a packed house tonight. And the other end of the floor, just a little bit too strong that time for Calhoun. Coming down with a chance to tie or take the lead. And look at the hustle defensively. Down on the floor, the ball goes back over to the Cougars.
You know, it was interesting looking at the warm-ups and seeing John Glenn with the obvious size advantage. You thought they were going to be dominating this game under the board. So far in that first quarter, 7 rebounds for the All Saints Cougars, 5 for the Bobcats. And the Cougars still hanging in there and battling under the boards.
As they're trying to get this ball in, finally Somler gets it. This is a great matchup with him and defensively against Ward, because Ward loves to play defense. Eisler with just a little soft baby hook there. The ball goes into the corner and is retrieved by Masters and goes back out of bounds, back over to the Cougars.
19-17, just under 5 minutes to go. Bobcats on top. Cougars hanging in.
Jeff Doan, glad to have you along with Michael Vincent as we're doing the game 1 of the 24-25 boys basketball season. And that ball, even if it was into the backcourt, wouldn't have been an issue. There is the takeaway, and could it be another? He just lost it at the end. Ward with the 3rd try, and the 3rd time a charm for the deuce.
Number 1 meets Ward with 2 putbacks. For the John Glenn Bobcats, he's up to 6 tonight.
Well, with McCrum, I think he kind of got caught in between steps and thought he could flush, but was a little farther out than he thought. And then he tried to fingertip it up and couldn't get that to go. But when you hustle down the floor, you get that 2nd and 3rd chance, and they got the deuce. 4-point lead now as the Bobcats back on the offensive set. Great job defensively by the Cougar defense, packing it in. And we're going to have a foul underneath with a reach in. That'll be an on the floor without a shooting. As we've got just over 4 minutes left. And again, Jason Brzezinski doing a great job of his substitution patterns as he brings in 4 more players. And sometimes those kids don't get a very long blow, but it's just enough for the game to slow down. You look at the sidelines from that side vantage point, and you might pick something up you can't see in the flow of the game. Wide open 3 ball, just a little bit strong. And we are going to have a jump ball off the alternate possession. That ball is going to go back over to the Bobcats.
Yeah, you mentioned Brzezinski. We mentioned in the pregame show that Coach Brzezinski is one of those guys that can get the absolute most out of every guy in his roster and gets them playing with 1 heartbeat. And you can see the makings of that in game 1 tonight already. Terrific effort by the Cougars, still within 4.
With possession of the ball, Somler's going to get it right now, and you know Ward's going to be visiting him inside his shorts the whole way down the floor. And these 2 kids know each other from basketball, so it isn't like they're not familiar. And
right,
there was an opportunity for a 3 ball in the corner, and that shot going up and is missed. What do we got going on? We're going to have a push off of the miss from Elijah Eisler. Substitute coming back in for the Bobcats will be Ruff. So they bring in a little bit more size.
Well, I tell you, Jeff, game 1 tonight, just an exciting interdivision matchup, and it gets you in the mood for the rest of this basketball season.
Well,
Nice friendly reminder of how exciting this game is, high school in Bay County.
And you and I don't have long to wait, as you'll be back at Central with me tomorrow night for the start of the boys' home season. And so it'll be very interesting to see how things go for the Central Wolves under new leadership this year.
I was already looking forward to it, and now I'm looking forward to it more.
It's a great time of year. And we're going to have a Bobcat foul, and that is going to go against number 3, Dylan Wood. Not the kind of foul your coach is going to be real excited about, 60 feet from the basket. Move your feet, don't reach in, and don't get run down. 3 minutes and counting left in the first half. Somler with a couple of dribbles, a breathing room as he got some separation from Ward. He's kind of got that on a Duncan yo-yo. Kirkpatrick trying to come down the baseline, and he traveled. Again, got a little excited, saw that double team coming and tried to quickly get rid of the ball. But that's one of the things the Bobcats have done very well, is knowing when to double and how quick to get there.
Yeah, it's very crafty defense this early in the season.
And oftentimes that communication takes a lot of time to get to that area. And now back at the other end, a wide open 3 ball is missed. Look at Somler with his experience, tips it away. He's going strong to the hole with a little fingertip roll and a deuce. What a great job going coast to coast for Somler.
12 points in this first half for the junior.
Boy, and Mike Wisdala will tell you he's his favorite player from All Saints because he's wearing Mike Wisdala's old number.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, yeah. There's a rich tradition at All Saints back through the decades, back through the 70s with the number 10. There's a timeout of the floor and a 2-point lead for the Bobcats. Back in a moment on BCTV.
Are you ready to gear up and stand out? Look no further than Sandlot, your local source for team uniforms, sports spirit wear, and more. Gear up with confidence. We've got your team covered from head to toe, ensuring you stand out on and off the field. And that's not all. Unleash your team spirit with custom spirit wear that roars success. Wait, it gets better. Introducing our free fundraising online stores. Effortlessly raise funds for your team while showing your pride. Customize your fundraising to reach your team goals. Get started online at sandlotsports301.com or at any one of our 3 convenient Great Lakes Bay locations. Sandlot, where quality, community, and apparel collide. Your team, our passion.
Back on BCTV, Jeff Doan and Michael Vincent. Glad to have you along. Nick Page producing, directing, and filming tonight. 2:13 left in the first half. Bobcats with possession, up a deuce. The ball inbounded, and they go right back up top to Ward, and that's where he's been all night other than his penetration. And Somler with the quick hands, and he wanted to pull up for 3. He
Top of the key.
He got his toe on the line from that, so kept it from being a 3, but had a pretty good look. And now he's going to float to the lane, and he's going to get his own rebound and a putback. He's just like the Energizer Buddy out there, and we're all tied up at 21.
Should also mention Somler with 4 rebounds tonight and counting.
14 points, 4 rebounds. That's a great first half. That's a great ball game for a lot of people. Another good shot by Ward. Just can't get it to drop. And here come the Cougars with an opportunity to take the lead. And Jajetsky. Oh, what a beautiful shot. Felt the pressure. Kind of fades back a little bit. Jajetsky with the deuce. And we're going to have an offensive foul as he picks it up at the other end. Woo! How about the effort?
Just like that, the All Saints Cougars up by 2 with just over a minute to go in this first half.
Boy, and you can feel the energy that the Cougars are bringing to the floor right now.
Absolutely.
This has turned into a fantastic first half, Mike.
Jeske, holy cow, I've heard the expression making things look easy, but that little jump shot looked very, very difficult.
And that's,
winging a prayer is the phrase that comes to mind.
And that is exactly what you're looking for. Ward at the other end can't finish, but he's fouled on the play. Probably a good foul to make him earn 2 at the stripe.
Absolutely. Number 4, Brennan P. is going to be called on that foul, his second in this first half.
Ward's going to go to the free throw line. He'll shoot a pair. He has a very unique style at the free throw line, and that first one is just off the mark. He went one-handed for a good portion of last year, but he's looks like he's relinquished that and gone back to the more standardized free throw shot.
Lightning quick first half. John Glenn was 1 for 2 for free throws in the first half, and this is their first one of the second quarter.
Boy, I don't even think that got ironed. And 0 for 2 at the free throw line, and that was something that they had hoped that he could improve on this year. He was not great at the line, but he has so many of the other intangibles.
Yeah.
The free throws will come with time.
Great matchup between Ward and Somler tonight.
And ball tipped away again, and when you get down on the floor, you can slide on your back. When you roll over a half a turn again, you don't get it.
That's the problem.
And nice job by Dale Clyde. He's talking about the way things are going and the way that he thought his kid just stayed on his back. And that ball on the outside right now. And look at Eisler underneath. That ball's knocked out of bounds, and it's going to go back the other way. But Eisler really had sealed his defender nice down in the post.
Got a nice old 80s mullet working, and he makes it work.
Well, and he's got what they call in the South End the old dupa, too, and he uses that to his advantage to create just a little bit of space when he needs it.
Quite a presence in the paint for the Cougars tonight so far. John Glenn with a chance to tie the game in this first half with seconds ticking off.
Back to the free throw line. We'll go the Bobcats for 2 again. And again, I think good foul for the Cougars. You're giving up a real short, easy, high percentage shot. You're going to make them earn 2 at the line the hard way.
You have some fouls to burn. Just 23 seconds to go in this first half. And Ruff will see if he can get it done.
That first one rolls off the front iron and then softly through the cotton. They're back within 1. Second free throw attempt. Got the bend of the knees, the flick of the wrist, 3 pieces of iron. He can't get it to drop. I think the Cougars are going to look to take the last shot of this first half, hoping they can go in with a 1 or more point lead. There's a nice wide open 3 ball off the mark, but a follow and unable to finish with 5 seconds left. They quickly got to get the ball down the floor. They let it fly from half court. At the end of our first half of play, the All Saints Cougars 23 and the John Glenn Bobcats 22. We'll be back in a moment. We'll recap the first half, set the stage for the second half right here on Bay County TV.
Sports give so many opportunities to kids. It gives them an opportunity to see where they fit within a team, persevere, understanding how to work with different personalities. Those are the lessons that will make you a successful adult. As a mom, you have to have an understanding of what concussions are.
Concussions are things that are treatable. If we take care of athletes, they will be able to develop and have a long, happy, healthy life.
Back at the Renew Physical Therapy halftime show on Bay County TV, Jeff Doan and Mike Vincent. And what we were looking for in the first half, I think we saw and a little bit more.
That was everything we could have asked for and more. 23-22, All Saints Cougars in a fantastic opening to this season.
15-5 opening run for the John Glenn Bobcats, and it looked like they were poised to stretch that double-digit lead. But I think one of the keys to that first half is Jason Brzezinski did a great job of substituting. In the second quarter, his kids were fresh, And they came with a couple runs, and, of course, they needed Somler, and he got a bunch in the first half.
Full disclosure, I think I will admit to this. Driving here, I thought the All Saints Cougars were going to be scrappy, but John Glenn was going to get a kind of an easy, good, strong first win. And now they're in the fight for their lives with 1 half to go.
Well, and I think this is great because when you get out to that 15-5 lead, you start thinking things come easy, and the Cougars just stepped back into it. Great intensity, great energy in this building. There's a jam-packed house in here. It's just a treat to start the year this way.
And Bobcat fans out there, however this second half goes, don't fret. The Clydes have got this thing. Coach Dale Clyde sharing duties with his son. They're giving everything they've got, and they're going to give the best that they can give for the John Glenn Bobcats.
Well, and you hope that Westlake comes back for the stretch run of the year because, when you have a chance to be 1,000-point scorer and 1,000 rebounds, never been done in the history of the school before. You're talking about a special kid, but if he can come back, he'll be fresh, and he will certainly add a dimension to this team.
Outstanding athlete and outstanding young man. I have to mention this. In the early warm-ups, he was in a cast and wearing a peg, but still playing defense and working with his teammates to help them with their offense in game one. Certainly would be a wonderful thing to come back at the end of the season.
Leads by example. Hard worker, and he doesn't miss a practice. He's there to support these kids. So what we saw in the first half, we hope we can duplicate in the second half because we are excited about the possibilities. That about puts the wraps on a Renew Physical Therapy halftime show. Back with what should be a whole lot of fun in the second half in just a moment on BCTV.
Choose Renew Physical Therapy for an experience that exceeds expectations. When our team started out, we researched the physical therapy industry to learn what patients and doctors liked and what they disliked. Now we have the perfect formula for you. We offer individualized one-on-one care that is custom tailored to you, ensuring that your needs are met and your goals are attained. With our evidence-based approach to physical therapy, we're able to provide a level of care unlike any other. Contact us today to learn more. We're here to help. Renew Physical Therapy.
Back here on Bay County TV, Jeff Doan and Mike Vinson ready for what should be a great second half of basketball.
Literally cannot wait for this thing to get started. 23-22 Cougars up on top. And here we go.
Switching ends of the floor, and great job by Kevin Sinicki. There's a little pushing and shoving going on for position to start. And hey, I don't want to blow the whistle at the start of the third quarter, guys. Clean it up. And there's Eiler at the
and he gets it to go!
Kissing it off the high glass. That is a designed play out of the inbounds, and it was run to perfection.
High off the glass for Eisler. See if he can sink the three-point play.
See if he can finish that three-point play the old-fashioned way. Boy, great use of the high glass. Not enough kids use that big glass like that, and that shot goes up, and, oh, yeah, he says, I like the glass so much, Mike, on the first shot, I'll use it on the free throw.
You don't have to call that here, I guess.
I heard him say the bank was open.
5 points for Eisler.
Underneath, great positioning that time by McCrum to get down and where he wanted that shot. Just a little soft baby hook from about 5, and he found the bottom of the hole.
Yep, McCrum sinks the baseline jumper. 5 points for McCrum.
Look at the great job by both officials closing down on that, making sure nothing extracurricular is going to happen. Alternate possession goes back over to the Bobcats, down a deuce with a half a minute gone in the third.
They do have the right crew for a real cat scratch fever night.
This has just been everything we could have hoped for and more. A little mid-range jumper. Shot comes up a little bit short. Andrzejewski with the nice rebound. And he said, no, I'll just take it down the floor and we'll get into the open set, and I'll give it back to Somler.
Somler with 12 points in that first half, looking to build on a terrific 16 minutes.
goes up a little too strong. He was looking for a foul that wasn't there. And at the other end, nice job of holding your feet. Trying to go with the extra pass, and 3 seconds in the lane starts over again. And that shot is up and good by Ward. Has just enough breaks of the possession to allow him to be in that lane for 8-9 seconds.
And the Cougars D in the paint really made Ward earn that one. Tied at 26, 6.5 minutes to go in this third quarter.
Great job being set up in the corner, ready to go. Another backside rebound by McCrum. He's looking to go coast to coast, but a little fingertip roll off of the wing that time for Hayden Ruff.
7 points tonight for Ruff.
Those big kids are running the floor well for the Bobcats on the break.
Beautiful assist.
And that shot going up, and again cleaning the glass at the other end of the floor. That ball is saved that time as Ward's going to fight with Somler down on the floor, and that alternate possession will go back to the Bobcats, or excuse me, to the Cougars. So the Cougars got it to start the third, quickly down at the other end, a half a minute in off the change of possession. Now back down here, going back over to All Saints, and just over 2 minutes in, getting some more fresh bodies on the floor, and that's worked very well for Coach Jason Brzezinski tonight.
John Glenn quickly up by 2 in this third quarter. Brzezinski using every piece to the puzzle, as you say, Jeff.
Just gotta love it. You gotta know what you've got with your kids, and you know very well a lot of these kids came in football shape, but football and basketball shape are two different forms of conditioning.
Absolutely.
One and done off the miss once again. Ward's going to go to the hole. Look at the way he avoids contact with a kiss off the glass and the deuce from the left side.
And just like that, number 1, Meach Ward into double figures for the Bobcats.
Bobcats have outscored by 5 here to start this third quarter. I think they're going to look to set the offense up, and Ward thought about the mid-range. He comes back. He finds a wide open 3-ball. Somler fights for that rebound, but it comes down to Ruff. He's fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line to shoot a pair.
Number 5, Hayden Ruff, battled for the board.
I don't know what kind of bandage we got on the floor, but Dale Clyde, he's doing it all. He's cleaning the facility. He's head coach. He's getting his players to play with energy, as Ruff's going to earn 2 at the stripe. And again, you could tell, Mike, from this first game of the year, even with Ruff getting to the free throw line, he just takes a couple of deep breaths before he gets into things because the adrenaline is flowing, and that takes a little extra juice out of you early in the year.
Yeah. John Glenn just 2 for 7, make it 3 for 8 from the free throw line so far tonight.
So outscoring the Cougars by 6, and again, how many times are they going to try that pass that it has not worked? Somler's going to be the Euro step to the hole for the deuce.
Answers back for the Cougars.
Boy, he
14 points and counting for Somler.
He is something special.
Just a junior for the Cougars, so All Saints gets him for another year besides this great one to come.
Strong to the hole, putting it up a little bit too strong. That rebound comes down. Here's Somler against Ward at the other end. He gives it up. Fight for the rebound. Somler, the little guy's down on the floor trying to make it happen. You know what happens here at the other end. Slam, bam, jam for Calhoun. Somler's a little gimpy right now, and I don't know if they called an official timeout for him or a timeout of the floor by Coach Brzezinski. Either way, we'll take a quick break and be back in a moment on BCTV.
Your husband is having a heart attack. The ambulance crew asks,
Which hospital?
before you answer, consider this. Covenant Healthcare is the region's most preferred hospital for both emergency and heart care. With an expert team of board-certified cardiologists and the Great Lakes Bay region's first and largest structural heart disease program.
Take us to Covenant.
Good answer.
Somler. He's been doing it all, bringing that ball down the floor. Little different defense that time as three-quarter court trap. And we're going to have a blocking foul that's going to go against Matthews. And again, that's not where you want to pick your fouls up 75 feet from the basket.
That's right. I'll tell you, if I'm sensing what Coach Clyde said at halftime, he says we need to crash the boards, we need rebounds, and we need to take control of the game on offense. And so far, so good in this third quarter for John Glenn.
So the Bobcats are coming on offense, up 5 right now, +6 in the third quarter. And they're going to set things up offensively. Thinking about the three ball that time and moving it around. Maybe a little better look in the corner, and that's not there, but Ruff cleaning up the glass, got the Windex out, swept and cleaned the glass, and got the deuce.
And number 5, Hayden Ruff in double figures, 10 points so far for the Bobcats.
Great answer at the other end. Number 14, Akins tickling the twine on the try.
And brings the Cougars back within 4. The All Saints Cougars are not going to go away tonight.
And Akins, you knew, being short in stature, that he was going to have to shoot the ball well. Now he's coming down the floor against Ward. He's going to pull up. He thought about the three ball, and now they're going to set it up. He's going to spin around and see if he can go back-to-back. Double rim in and out. As down the floor, Ruff to Ward. Look at the great job that they do getting to the hole. Second shot, Andrzejewski with that. Finally, the rebound after 3 misses. Somler's a little bit out of control, and we're going to have a blocking foul. I believe that blocking foul comes, Mike. The offense created the contact. I don't think the defense ever got set. That's where that blocking foul comes from.
Clearly, the John Glenn Bobcat faithful do not like that call.
Well, they don't get a vote.
That's true. That's true. Once again, terrific crowd on night 1 for the John Glenn Bobcats, near to capacity.
And again, it has just been high energy, the kind of fun that you look for in Game 1, Week 1 of the 24-25 basketball season for the boys. Somler with 4 pieces of iron and then can't get it to drop. A couple of substitutes coming in for the Bobcats right now.
Number 0, Isaiah Hankinson, and number 3, Dylan Wood back into the game.
Boy, they're so confident that Somler's going to hit this. They're just going back to play defense on the other end for the Cougars.
Somler looking to add to his prolific total so far tonight.
Boy, and that one gets 4 pieces of iron too, but then finds the cotton.
It's 1 of 2 to go. Cougars back within a 1-score game.
Moving the ball around again. Dribble penetration, a dish to the outside. Good patience, not much there. There's the open 3 ball, and they passed up the shot looking for another opportunity. Boy, sometimes I think they're passing on the 3 balls, looking to get better shots. So we'll see as time goes on if they pull the trigger on some of those 3 balls.
Number 2, Carter Glaza called for the reach-in foul on the Cougars.
Boy, off the inbound play, unbelievable slice to the hole by Ward for the deuce. That's the stuff you draw up, and it works to perfection.
Beautifully done.
Akins, look at the little penetration off the baby step, and now he's hobbling a little bit, but did that hesitation and took off to the hole. Ruff said not so fast.
Big block for number 5, Hayden Ruff. Had a few inches on his opponent there, I think I saw him.
I would say a foot plus. Another great screen and a roll to the basket. Eisler with the deuce, and the answer at the other end. Back within 3 are the Cougars.
Eisler, a real presence in the paint down low for the Cougars tonight.
That's again another offensive rebound, fighting to get the glass underneath. As there's back the other end of the floor. A little pull-up from 14. What a soft touch for that guy.
Beautifully done. Number 14, Gavin Akins. Cans the jumper in the paint. John Glenn calling their first time out of this second half.
Well, as we watch a conversation between one of our officials and Dale Clyde, like the respect in that communication. We'll take a quick break and be back in a moment on BCTV.
For over 75 years, Frank's Great Outdoors has served as the Great Lakes Bay region's premier hunting, fishing, and outdoor shopping destination. What started in the mid-1940s as a roadside bait and tackle stand has now blossomed into a 30,000 square foot outdoorsman's dream shopping location. Stop by the store located at 1212 North Huron Road in Linwood or shop online at franksgreatoutdoors.com to find everything you need to get your next outdoor adventure started.
Back on BCTV with $1:46 left in the third. Bobcats 37, Cougars 36. Again, we've said it 20 times tonight. What a great way to start off the season.
It really is. This is a blast tonight.
Ward coming down the floor into the front court. Off to the wing it goes. Ward's going to be up top as the floor general again. And there's a great wide open 3-ball look. And that one is off the mark by number 3, Dylan Wood. One and done as Somler comes down the floor at the other end. And you know where the defense is going to be with him. And
draws the foul under the hoop. Somler goes back to the line. And he's going to try to give the Cougars their lead, first lead in a while.
Didn't know if you're going to call it on the baseline. No shot.
That.
I think he was trying to pass the ball. So Eisler tries to go with that back door. Andrzejewski on the inside can't get it to drop. And they're fighting for the loose ball, and that comes back down to number 0, Hankinson. And being able to save that and going up wanting to finish. And again, good verticality defensively. 4 opportunities. And I believe they may have a push in the back. Let's see. Boy, I'll tell you, that was an offensive effort that time on the glass for the John Glenn Bobcats with about 5.
Ferocious effort in the paint.
So to the free throw line is McCrum. He'll shoot a deuce. Up by a point. Now 2. Very nice effort again right in front of the John Glenn Bobcat faithful student section.
John Glenn now 50% from the free throw line. McCrum trying to give the Bobcats a 3-point lead and does so.
What a nice stroke at the line. It's a flat free throw, but nothing but cotton on both deliveries. And again, they change things up, and they're going to have a foul on number 3, Dylan Wood. And again, 40 feet from the basket's not the spot that I'm looking as a coach to have that foul happen. But with 46 ticks left in the third, nobody in the bonus yet, both teams with 4. So they'll be shooting the next one.
And as every athlete knows, there is that gray area between aggressive and reckless, and it's impossible to not cross that line now and then.
It is so hard. It's subject to interpretation. Somler gets the ball stolen by Ward. Look at the speed. He comes down the floor.
Whoa.
He can't finish, but he's fouled on the play, and he'll go to the line for 2.
Lightning fast down that floor.
That was a cruise down the floor coast to coast. So he's going to gather himself for a second. With a 3-point lead right now, and that means the Bobcats to this point have outscored the Cougars by 4 here in the third.
Still anybody's game with 1 quarter to go.
Boy, that first free throw short. And that young man has played a whale of a game, but 0 for 3 at the free throw line right now.
And as you said earlier, that might have been a case of a little bit of fatigue. Catching your breath at the free throw line and trying to hit one is hard work, especially in game 1.
And again, when that adrenaline's pumping and the legs are heavy and sore, it's hard to get things in rhythm, but that's why you repeat it heavily in practice. And that is a double miss. Back at the other end, they try and go underneath with a great look by number 11. Boy, McCrum didn't even have his face to the basket. He spun just knowing where it was at. He kissed it in for the deuce. There's a little 17-footer, and the shot is missed and kept alive that time by Callahan. There's a 3-ball at the buzzer. At the end of 3, it's 41-36. The Bobcats over the Cougars. Back in a moment for the Final 8 on BCTV.
My name's Kaya Vrabel. I'm from Carroll, Michigan. I came to Renew at McLaren because I was having some hip pain as an athlete in cross country and track and field. I actually had a labrum surgery on my right hip back in April of 2023, and so I had some rounds of physical therapy outside of Renew at McLaren, but it didn't really fit where I was trying to go, so I had some other problems and they recommended me here.
I was a physical therapist. I was treating Kaya after she had a labral repair. First, after these surgeries, you're going to work on strength and range of motion, flexibility, and then you work on stability, functionally getting her back to her ultimate goal of running. So for athletes, making sure their body mechanics are good, their running mechanics, their stability is a big one to prevent injury in the future, working on stability, balance, controlling their jumps, eccentric control, and it's about avoiding future injuries as well as helping their current injury.
Physical therapy here has helped me improve my times and actually get a couple school records. I broke the 3,200 meter and then the 1,600 meter for my school.
So we worked on getting her back to her goal of running and dominating, actually.
Back on BCTV as they break the huddle, and Sean Westlock standing there going, "Oh, fellas, I want so badly to come out there and help you," but good inspiration and a 5-point lead for the Bobcats here to start the Final 8.
Doing his part on the bench, fine young athlete and fine young person.
Well, and you've done a great job so far through 3 quarters, Mike. You have not dropped your clipboard down to the floor, which we both thought could be an issue for us clumsy-handed people.
Holding on with both hands, Jeff.
Underneath, look at the room carved out that time by McCrum. Just patience, does a couple of bangs, and softly puts it through the hole.
Beautifully done. 11 points tonight and counting for number 11, Jimmy McCrum.
So good balanced scoring by the Bobcats tonight.
And I mentioned what the Bobcats seemed to come out doing in the third quarter. I believe Coach Clyde told them to crash the boards, and they did so. So far, 20 rebounds tonight for the John Glenn Bobcats and 19 for the Cougars, but the Bobcats had 10 in that third quarter.
There's a shot from McCrum. He sat down in the corner, squared up his feet, and launched a perfect trifecta tickle in the twine.
McCrum finding the hot hand in this fourth quarter. Bobcats suddenly up by 10.
Look at the shot by Somler. A little teardrop from 10 over the defense and finds the bottom of the hole. Great job that time as the Cougars still down by 8. And the patience on offense. Trapped in no man's land, but look who's there on the backside. Hankinson had that ball fall right into his lap, and he knew what to do with it.
Quick hands, sharp instincts.
Back to a 10-point lead. Trying to get the ball over the midcourt line. Trying to go in the backside, and that's a play probably where Matthews says, that was last touched by them. I'm not going to fight to get it. Let's take it out of bounds and play, but went off his fingertips, and the ball goes back over to the Bobcats. Plus 10 with 6.5 left in the game. As they come into the offensive set, Bobcats looking for that great wide open look, and they get it. Kirkpatrick fights for that rebound, but McCrum going strong to the hole is hit, and he'll go back to the glass and the free throw line for 2.
Battles for the board. I think I counted 6 arms on him as he got that shot off.
Yeah, they could have their pick of who they were going to call that one on. Up 10 with 6:18 left. Look, only time it's been quiet all night in here. That first free throw off the front iron. That's the only issue you have with a flatter free throw is if that touches front iron, it lessens your opportunities for the make.
I know you coached a little basketball in your day, Jeff. Did you have a favorite technique to teach at the free throw line?
The absolute same routine and rhythm every time, but you've got to do it early in practice, middle of practice, and after you've run your sprints so that your muscle memory takes over in situations like that.
That is interesting.
As it's a 11-point lead. Was trying to go strong to the hole. What a great feed. Not able to finish on the play was number 2, Paul. But he gets the rebound back, and I think the Cougars are going to get a timeout. Down 11 right now. We'll take a quick break and be back in a moment on BCTV.
In life, things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it.
It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
Back here on BCTV, the Cougars down 11 with possession. Let's see what they can carve up coming out of the timeout. Boy, they get that ball into Eisler, and he's ready to set a screen, but Salmer's got very little real estate open on the floor right now. They're acutely aware of where he's at. And another
big
great
block by McCrum, really becoming a presence this second half.
Ruff and McCrum, the big fellas, have really taken turns dominating underneath. As there's a nice turnover by the Cougars. Quickly down the floor. As that ball goes to Paul. Paul was trapped for a moment, but the double team again to Somler, nowhere to go.
Terrific game. Bobcats up by 11 with 5.5 minutes to go in this terrific opening contest of the 2024-2025 varsity basketball season. McCrum almost good for 3 more.
Boy, and they're going to send up another one. A third chance, can't get it. Jason Angiewski's son, Drew. So Jason's getting credit for something. He's just the official scorer for the Bobcats. he unofficially got a rebound in this game.
I'm trying to do my best keeping up with this score. My hand won't move that fast.
And we're going to have an out-of-bounds play. Bobcats. That foul is, they're going to call that on number 3, Dylan Wood. So down 11 with possession, trying to make this a one-possession game, just under 5 minutes left. Great try on the inbound, but the shot unable to go from Eisler at the other end of the floor. Not there.
Number 14, Oliver Masters, drives to the hoop and draws the foul. Masters will go to the line for the Bobcats, trying to add to an 11-point lead. And just like that, my goodness, it was 4 minutes ago, and I think the All Saints Cougars were up by 1. Well, Bobcats strike like lightning in this fourth quarter.
And we couldn't see the official on the baseline from our vantage point to see what he was going to call on that, but we were pretty confident that the defender did not establish legal guarding position in time, and therefore it was going to be a block, and that's what we got. Second free throw attempt forthcoming from Oliver Masters. Up by 13 right now are the John Glenn Bobcats. Somler looks like they don't want him touching the ball right now. They double him off. And at the other end of the floor, trying to skip pass on the backside, knocked out of bounds, and the Cougars in front of their own bench on their baseline will take the ball out of bounds.
Definitely not surprising. Somler getting double teamed after that explosive first half. 14 points for the Cougars in the first half, just 2 in this half.
Boy, another great opportunity to get the ball inbounded, but unable to finish that time was Elijah Eisler, as the defense kind of was a little better aware that time, and they rotated back and slapped it away. Look at Somler's first step to the hole. Explosive in a finish for the Deuce. Just very impressive for this junior.
19 points. Could break 20 minutes in game 1 for the Cougars.
And that shot just off the mark. And Rupp is probably going to pick up the foul. Was just looking to see if there was any extra verbiage. That got shut down in a hurry by Kevin Sinicki, as he is very acutely aware and more than able to take care of that.
Excellent referee crew. Perfect crew for this good game tonight.
Yep, absolutely. As now they're going to inbound the ball as J.J. Metz comes back, and he'll find the third defender on the floor. His perfect positioning as the center. And Drew Andrzejewski can't get it. Look at the fight for the loose change. And we're going to have a timeout by the Bobcats, and it'll be a 30. We'll take a break with 4:04 left. The Bobcats by 11. Back in a moment on Bay County TV.
How's married life? Are you ready to have a baby? Baby, baby. How about that baby? Ooh. I'm not getting any younger.
When you are ready. With the only neonatal intensive care unit in the Great Lakes Bay region, Covenant is the safest place for your delivery. Go to mycovenantbaby.com.
We're in for a great final. 4:04 left of the ball game. Right now the Bobcats up by 11. The Cougars with possession. I think we're talking about whose ball it is right now. And it's going to be Bobcat ball, because Bobcats have to have possession of the ball before Coach Clyde can call that timeout.
Correct.
So it's a good job fixing it. Ruff at the other end. Big fella has contact. He's just so strong, Mike. He goes up and finishes for the Deuce.
Number 5, Hayden Ruff, finding his way. I was looking at the film on the John Glenn Bobcats, and Ruff had a good year, tough down low as a junior, and that's a good year to be tough down low. He's going to have a fun senior year.
Comes up just a little bit short. The ball out of bounds, going back over to the Bobcats. And just when you look at this team with the couple of bigs that they've got with Westlock, if he can come back, that will be a great trifecta of bigs that will go up against just about any other team size-wise that they'll play all year long.
Both fingers crossed. That'll be a fun February and March if Westlock can heal well.
Well, if there's a chance for him to come back, you know that he will. And if he can get at least 3-4 regular season games to get his conditioning back and get his rhythm with his teammates, this could be a real fun team to watch. Absolutely. In March. They're fun to watch in November.
They really are.
And we're going to have a jump ball off the alternate possession. I think it's going to the Cougars. Boy, the first half flew by. Boy, this second half seems like it's taken a long time.
It always catches up to itself, the time thing. And it really has been a tale of two halves tonight. Cougars own the first half by a whisker. John Glenn kind of setting the pace in the second half.
Outscoring by 14 points here in the second half as Paul loses control of the ball and then picks up a tough foul. You know, once Ruff gets his hands on the ball, it's going to be tough to dislodge it from the big fella.
Absolutely. Mentioned earlier, the All Saints Cougars kind of punching above their weight class. You can tell there's a size disadvantage for the Cougars. There's a division disadvantage for the Cougars, but they have absolutely nothing to hang their heads about tonight at all. Playing a terrific, scrappy game.
Bobcats on the offensive end, and that ball goes right off Eisler's head. Just coming into the gym at the other end, girls varsity basketball coach from the All Saints Cougars, long-time coach Mike Debo in the house.
All right.
So their girls are a week behind the boys this year. As he's always excited. He's got a couple of real good big ninth grade girls that he's really trying to work on maturing with some great consistency from the upper class, and that ball is gobbled up by the mullet. And down the floor goes Somler. Great setup in the corner. That was the shot they were looking for. Paul couldn't get it to drop, but that is perfect because the defense all went to Somler and left the wide open corner.
That's right.
Just missed the wide open opportunity. There goes Somler strong to the hole. Look at, he just pulls up from 7 feet and just a little soft one-hander for the deuce.
About 21 points in the first game of the 2024 season for junior Arnell Somler.
Ball is booted out of bounds. It goes off a leg, and that will be back over to the Bobcats with 2.5 left in the ball game. Ruff on the inbound. He was open for the three. I don't think they're looking for him to take any three balls. That shot is missed. Look at the backside rebound by Ruff. And a third opportunity by McCrum. And that ball goes out of bounds, and I think they're going to give it back to the Bobcats. Boy, they're really hitting the offensive glass hard in this second half.
Yes, they are. As I said, All Saints Cougars were undersized but holding their own in the first half. John Glenn clearly dominating the boards in the second half.
Boy, 3 good opportunities, 4 good opportunities. Finally, Eisler comes down with the ball amongst the Giants. Somler just a little out of control. Needed to go at an 8 speed, tried to go at 9.5, and that ball sailed out of bounds.
Well put.
Fast break, the misinterpretation with that is it doesn't have to be at a number 10 speed.
Right. 1 heartbeat. That's something you work on from November until March in this game.
Paul was going to inbound the ball for the Cougars with 2:02 left in the game. Ball back up top. They want to get back into Somler's hands, and he's double teamed. That ball goes out of bounds, and Somler's going to have nightmares of white jerseys in his sleep tonight because they have really crowded him, and to his credit, he still has 21 and counting.
That's right. And actually up to 8 in this second half. So they quieted him a little. They haven't silenced him.
Paul with a great little floater from the left. Coach Brzezinski with a timeout, leaving them with 1 left with $1:42 left in the game. 53-44. Bobcats by 9. Back in a moment on BCTV.
Are you ready to gear up and stand out? Look no further than Sandlot, your local destination for custom screen printing, embroidery, and promotional goods in the Great Lakes Bay region. With not 1, not 2, but 3 convenient locations right here in the heart of the Great Lakes Bay region, we're your MVP when it comes to branded gear that hits the mark. For over 15 years, we've believed in community, in delivering top-tier quality, and in making your brand shine brighter than ever. And guess what? We're not just about sports. From schools to clubs, from businesses to community events, we're your one-stop shop for custom apparel that makes a statement. So if you're ready to elevate your brand, to make an impact, and to fuel your passion, choose Sandlot. Visit us today at one of our 3 unbeatable locations in the Great Lakes Bay region, or check us out online at sandlotsports301.com. Sandlot, where quality, community, and apparel collide. Your brand, our passion.
Back on BCTV, just under 2 minutes left. Boy, we have had some fun tonight. This has been a great active crowd and a ton of fun for our first game of the year.
And before I forget, I want to thank you for giving me a call this morning, Jeff. I was looking forward to it anyway, and I am so glad you called me now. This was a great one to not miss.
Well, Gwiz with his laryngitis, his wife Marie is happy he's got it, but the rest of the world maybe not so much. Up 9 with possession, $1:40 left in the game. Pretty easily breaking the press, and I think they're going to probably be content now to stretch it out a little bit, and they're going to force the Cougars out of that zone defense. They're going to have to go man. They're not going to have an opportunity to play zone. As you know that they've got some ball handlers out there, and they're going to look for a backdoor cut and an easy float to the basket for a high percentage shot. This is something, a version of the 4-corner that Dean Smith way back in the day for North Carolina started when he had Phil Ford and company back there. That's your flashback for the night.
Some of my earliest basketball memories had to do with that. That's number 11, Jimmy McCrum down low for 2 and quietly coming into his own as a scorer.
And again, I said exactly what they were going to do. They were going to wait for an opportunity for a high percentage shot around the basket.
Yeah.
They got it, and they were able to finish.
McCrum with 17 tonight for the Bobcats, leading scorer for John Glenn.
Bobcats are going to go back to the free throw line as All Saints at this point, only option left is to foul, and with a couple of free throws here, although that's been a tad bit of a struggle for this young man Ward tonight at the free throw line. The only aspect of his game he hasn't done great in.
True, 0 for 4 so far for Ward.
I think you'll get this one. Yeah, 1 for 5. That was a nice stroke.
This might be a good week for you to consider Vegas, Jeff. That was a pretty good prediction.
Well, that was maybe a law of average prediction as well. Let's see how he's able to do here on his second attempt. Bend to the knees, flick of the wrist, comes up short. Eisler gets it to Somler, and he's triple teamed. Paul down the floor trying to go to Eisler. Nice job that time by number 14, Oliver Masters. He said, the only way I'm going to stop this is if I give it the old extra point kick. So Paul's going to inbound with 32.8 left. Eisler, look at the drop step. He goes to the hole. That ball's knocked away. And that's going to be an offensive foul on Drew Andrzejewski.
I didn't see any All Saints Cougar football games, but I got to believe Drew Andrzejewski played a little football for the Cougars, Jeff.
He was a lineman and a defensive lineman, and a very good one.
Yeah, I could tell by that hit.
He definitely put the shoulder down and made his presence known, but 12-point lead right now, and I think All Saints is just going to take their time, and again off of the extra try, that is Masters with a deuce, and a 14-point lead in the final 10 seconds left. Look at Ruff hustling down the floor to tip that ball away. Probably the final offensive possession of the ball game for the All Saints Cougars. As Paul will inbound the ball. Somler, boy, again, he feels the double team coming. Into the corner with 2 seconds, 1 second. Can they get it off? That's all there is. There isn't any more in the final score in our ball game. The John Glenn Bobcats 58 and the All Saints Cougars 44. Back in a moment to put the wraps on this one on BCTV.
Ow, ow, ouch! My hip, my knee, my joints feel out of whack. Ow, ow, oh my! The pain, I can't take it anymore.
Back for the post-game wrap here on Bay County TV. This is the Bay City All Saints Cougar Booster Club post-game show. A 1-point game at the half ended up being a 14-point win for the Bobcats as they pulled away in the second half.
Yeah, the John Glenn Bobcats established defense and they established crashing the boards in the second half, and I do believe that was the difference.
Offensive rebounds, second, third, fourth opportunities resulting in points was huge for the Bobcats in the second half.
The Cougars were holding their own, and as I said a couple of times, punching above their weight class, but I think it caught up with them in the second half. Still a fine effort by the All Saints Cougars.
And I think if you're Jason Brzezinski and Trepkowski and that whole crew, you're going to come away from this game going, you know what, I saw a ton of good things from my kids, a ton of fight. They were able to score. They were able to play defense. They held their own on the boards. I think that they're not totally saddened by this 14-point loss.
I'm convinced those guys know what they're doing. We talked to Coach Brzezinski before the game, and again, he was kind of, seemed to be a little nervous and maybe some missing pieces here and there. And I don't know, maybe we're just going to do our best. And I think he knew what he was doing all along. These guys got some stuff to play with. They're going to have a fine season. 17-7 last year, and they're back.
It's going to be fun to watch them all year long. But again, credit to the Bobcats. Very tight at halftime. They made some very good necessary adjustments at the half and came back and took charge in the second half.
Yes, they did. We should mention Jimmy McMahon, 17 points for the John Glenn Bobcats. Meach Ward followed with 13, so they got some scores too this year.
They made it happen. They pulled away with a victory. That about puts the wraps on our Bay City All Saints Cougar postgame show. Michael, indeed a pleasure to have you along in this raucous crowd tonight. What a great way to start the year off.
Thank you sincerely for the call, Jeff, and I hope you keep me in mind for the rest of this season.
We will. Nick Page, another fabulous job by the maestro up there. Have a great night, and we'll look forward to talking with you soon.